Yo, I gotta find my filters, man. These filters is trash. That's cute. Woo! All right. Let's get this bad boy started. Hey guys, happy new year and welcome back to my channel. It is 2023. It's the top of a new year and I'm feeling good. Feeling really good about this year. I know everybody probably says that at the beginning of January, like it's about to be my best year ever, but I really do feel like that. As I was going through some of what my goals are for this year, some of the things that I want for myself this year, I started to just think through what some of my experiences have been over the last 2 years of being a full-time content creator, full-time entrepreneur. And so in today's video, I want to share some of those experiences with you. I want to share some of those lessons with you. Now, I know I haven't been doing this for as long as a lot of other creators have been doing this, but I do hope that you do find some value in it. I hope that you're able to learn from my experiences, learn from some of my failures, and either if you are thinking about going into full-time content creation or if you're already on that journey, I hope that you're able to find some value in this video. So let's get into it. So I just want to share a little bit about my journey and my story of how I even got to this place. So I've been creating content full-time for a little over 2 years now, and before this time I was running my content creation business while still maintaining a full-time job. Now at the time I had every hope and desire to one day take my business full-time, but did I ever think that that would really happen? Probably not. Nonetheless, I was creating content pretty consistently, posting consistently, building a community over on Instagram, and even working with brands pretty consistently. I was doing all the things that I knew to do to one day take the business full time. Now, I worked for a very well-known university, and in the height of the pandemic in 2020, unexpectedly was a part of a university-wide layoff. Now, I had no idea that this was coming, and I had a decision to make. Was I either going to, look for another job or take the leap of faith, take the risk of putting into place what I had been practicing for years prior? And so my decision was to take the leap, to take the risk. Now, it has not been without struggle. It has not been without fear. It has not been without failure. But it was the right decision for me. I don't advise anyone to make the same decision as me. I won't advise anyone to leave their job, but it was the right decision for me, and here we are. Okay, so the first thing that I want to touch on is mindset. Now, mindset as a creative, as an entrepreneur, is literally everything. If you want to show up at your best and want to show up at your best consistently, you have to find ways to keep your mind protected. Now, as much as we say not to compare ourselves, comparison is inevitable, and there's not enough willpower in the world that's going to stop you or that's going to stop me from falling prey to comparing ourselves in our work and comparing ourselves in our journeys. Now, that said, there are definitely ways, preventative measures that we can take to help mitigate that experience. One, be intentional about what it is that you're consuming. That subconscious, mindless scrolling through social media when you're going right before you go to bed or anytime you have downtime, that stuff seeps information, it seeps thoughts, it seeps feelings and distorted realities, whether you realize it or not. So be mindful of what it is that you're consuming and who it is that you're consuming it from. 2, try to let go of the pressure of feeling like you need to show up every single day. It's not to say that you aren't working every day or doing things to push your business forward every day, but the pressure to create and post every single day on social media, it is not realistic or sustainable. You are going to end up forcing it and creating things that you are not proud of. Give your best daily, challenge yourself daily, but take breaks when you need to take breaks. You're going to take more pride in what it is that you produce, and your community is going to thank you for it, I promise you. The last thing on mindset I want to talk about is finding your tribe. Now, working for yourself a lot of days means working by yourself, and for me, someone coming from the corporate world, that stuff gets real lonely. Forming relationships with other creators helps you to have people to bounce ideas off of, ask questions about rates or questions about brands or questions about whatever. It gives you people to hold you accountable and people to put you in check if you need to be put in check. And ultimately, it just gives you people to walk through this journey with. Like, we are all trying to figure it out. We're literally all trying to figure this out together, and having other people figure it out with you and go with you through the process is truly invaluable. Okay, so the second thing I want to touch on is working with brands, which is usually the most asked about topic. I think when starting off as a content creator, our first interaction with a brand is literally like the most exciting thing in the world. They want to send us free vitamins, they want to send us like free beauty products, and we're like, yes, like, where do I sign up? Where do I get my address? Like, absolutely yes. And it's very subtle, but there's something that happens at that stage. At least it happened for me. You start to realize that what you're creating is now worth something, and worth something tangibly, whether it's money or it's product. Your work and your influence is now up for leverage. Now, it's important for you to remember, as you start to form mindsets about your work and the value of your work, as exciting as it is to work with these brands, you do not owe them anything. Whatever relationship you're entering should be mutually beneficial. That doesn't mean that you can't or you shouldn't do product exchanges, especially in the beginning. It's important for you to build your knowledge in the process of working and communicating with brands and following creative briefs and turning in drafts and all of the different processes that come in working in campaigns. However, you will need to evaluate the value of what it is that you're providing with the value of what it is that you're receiving, and that evaluation never ends. Now, when it comes to rates, unless you're my client, I will likely never tell you what you should charge. There are so many factors that go into creating rates that a blanket system based off of your following count, in my opinion, it just doesn't do you justice at all. But what I will say is having an idea of what your peers are charging is super important. And then for me, it was also important to have a coach, someone who had already been where I was and who could give me insight and guidance on the range of where my rates should be. And then even with that, over the years, it's been a lot of just like throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. If a brand said yes to a number, that was my new rate. It's a good rule of thumb: if the number does not scare you, it is likely not high enough. Now, this is for my creators of color. Unfortunately, being a woman of color, being a Black woman, microaggressions, discrimination, they show their ugly face in the content creation world, just like everywhere else. And just like everywhere else, Black creators are generally paid less than their white and their non-Black counterparts. I have creator friends of all colors and of all shades, and have been approached by numerous brands where the rates that were offered to me were significantly lower than the rates that were offered to my white counterparts, and it was not always about the numbers. I've had brands give me a hard time or asked me for all of this justification for rates that they were willing to give to others. Now, this does not come at any surprise to me. It really doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But that said, it's important for us to talk to our peers and our peers of all shades to have transparency behind what people are being paid. To my Black creators, we are currently in January and Black History Month is around the corner. The brands, they will come out of the woodwork. The brands that didn't see you before, they will somehow see you now because they need you. Use wisdom and price yourself accordingly. The third thing I want to talk about is income. I said this in the beginning, I'll say it again. I am never going to be the one to tell you to leave your job or to not. But I want you to understand that as a content creator, your income is not stable, especially in the beginning. And when the money does start to come in, you're gonna wanna budget yourself out months in advance just to give yourself a cushion. If you're currently working another job and you're considering leaving, having a financial cushion, some type of savings is gonna help you relieve so much financial stress, especially in the beginning as you're like trying to still figure things out. Having multiple streams is essential. Do not put all of your eggs in one basket. For me, the bulk of my income does come from brand partnerships, but brand partnerships can be unstable. And so for me, it was very important for me to have money coming in from multiple different streams. So outside of brand partnerships, I offer services, so photo and video services, as well as coaching. I do coaching for other influencers and content creators. Products and courses, I currently have presets and have an online course. I'm working on another one, it's coming. I know you guys have been asking me for it, so it's coming. But products and courses and classes is another way that I have income. And then there's affiliate links. It's currently what brings in the least amount of money for me, but it is an area of opportunity. And when you work it with strategy, it can definitely, your affiliates can definitely be a large supplement to your overall income. The last thing that I want to touch on is taking breaks. The best thing about working for myself is that there is literally nobody to tell me what to do. But on the flip side of that, the worst thing about working for myself is that there's literally no one to tell me what to do, including taking a break. There is this thrill that comes when you know that who you are and the skills that you possess can actually earn you a living. And when you see that you're bringing in actual income from what you have created, that feeling, like there's literally nothing like it. Problem I found was that it also brought on a lot of pressure. I felt like since I was the one creating the income for myself, if I were to stop, the money will also stop. And in all honesty, I love what I do. And because I love what I do, burnout was usually the determining factor as to like when it was time to take a break. And guys, that is not the way. It's definitely still a work in progress, but my solution has been to intentionally schedule pockets of downtime and unplugging. And for me, that's usually Sundays. I don't typically post on my social channels on Sundays, and I try to stay off of the apps completely on Sundays, and just really listening to my body and taking the breaks when my body tells me to break. I need you to hear me on this one. You can grind and still take breaks. Trust me, your body and your creative process will thank you for it. A huge part of my journey, you guys, is just trying to figure it out. Like, most days I have no idea what I'm doing, and I ask questions when I can. I figure out more of it on my own. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I am up and ready for the challenge and motivated and ready to go. And sometimes I'm frustrated and I'm over it and I'm ready to cancel everything and call it quits. But you have to remember your vision. You have to remember why it is that you started this, why it is that you're doing this, why are you showing up every day? You have to remember it and then write it down and then revisit it. Like, keep it somewhere where you can see it every single day, somewhere that you can reference it every single day. And when times get hard, you're able to pull that thing out as a reminder just to see another day. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I could literally sit here with you guys for hours, and like, there's so many things that we can touch on, so many different topics that we can go into. So if there was something that you have more questions about, or you want me to dive into a little bit deeper, go ahead and leave it in the comment section, and I will either maybe do a part 2 to this, or maybe I'll answer the question in another video. But I really, really hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that you guys found some value in it. Again, I am not an expert. I don't have all of the answers, but as much as I have, I freely give. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, y'all.